Can you tell we're all very excited?
We're all very excited to come back to this thing that was essentially the groundwork for this podcast getting started that we've since lost a significant amount of enthusiasm for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it started as 2 shows, and now it's ballooned to almost 6.
Well, when we started, there was 4.
Yeah. I think Lou's just talking about the podcast, like our show. But yeah.
Oh, no. I was talking about the CW specific.
Oh, well, no. We started when they were... No, we started when they had 4.
They had Legends already?
Yes, it was in its 2nd season. We started basically at the best time to start this show.
Oh, God, no. Covering Legends Season 1, I would have fucking blown my brains out.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, especially when it got to like the middle part. And then I think like the Bird Person episode would have just made me go like, fuck this show forever.
Which it's hilarious to bring up the 1st season of Legends.
Yeah.
Wait, why?
Well, after I guess introductions, we'll get into it.
Yeah, well, there's
3 of us.
People in there. This is probably the first 3-man show since I think it was me, Chris, and Alan.
Yeah,
did a 3-man show.
I think I did
one of these at least.
Some point.
Yeah. I do. There was that episode where it was just me and Erik talking about Supergirl very quietly. That was the thing. So, yeah.
Also, like, for a 3-man show, me, Alan, and Chris is like the amount of energy was so lopsided. I don't know if we ever did. We release that episode?
We did. I disowned it immediately, though.
So did I.
I remember that. Yeah. Well, that's where we're just going to do some behind the scenes talk now because clearly that's more interesting to us. That's where we instituted a 3-man rule. That's where that came from.
Yeah.
We decided that anything less than 4 is a no-go in terms of releasing an episode, and it's just bad pod.
Well, in terms of who we had available too.
Mm-hmm.
Because now we have a handful of us who can just cycle in and out.
Exactly.
But Hunter would be here, but his Wi-Fi adapter in his laptop died.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Erik has to pull a lid over his sarcophagus.
Yeah.
And get some slumber.
Oh, I said, I was going to say, like, if we were, what is the Shadows show?
Oh, this is the Shadow Show. That's what we should call it.
No, with the vampire one.
Oh, Dark Shadows?
No, the one with the... to me, like, if we were them, Erik is the Nosferatu one from the movie.
What would you...
Oh, what we do in the shadows.
Yeah. Erik's the Nosferatu.
You gotta be specific. When you're talking about a show, shadows in the title.
Oh wait, that was the soap opera that they remade with Johnny Depp, right?
Oh my god.
Okay, I guess that also had vampires in it. Was there Michelle Pfeiffer?
That's the main character. He's a vampire.
Years old. Nobody gives a shit about it.
I was more thinking of like a sense of group is like when we are in the shadows. Erik's the Nosferatu one.
So here's the problem. Even though that show exists, I think of that as a movie first. I do not think of it as a show. So that's why.
Yeah, I should have gone with the movie, but I couldn't. For some reason, all the advertisements for it.
But yeah, you are right. Erik is definitely the Nosferatu. He dragged me into the cabin, and then
he's Peter,
and now he's Peter, and we're very good friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exciting night, guys.
Castle, and it was Peter. And we've been friends ever since.
Yes.
Peter, is Peter coming to the flat meeting? Peter is 8,000 years old. He's not coming to the flat meeting. Erik is 8,000 years old. He's not coming to the podcast.
Yes, that's exactly right. Did we actually introduce ourselves or not?
No.
I was getting there, and I'm a little tired, buddy.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
Very, very sleepy. Low energy Connor McGraw. I feel like this week has been fucking an eternity for some reason. I also slept like dog shit the last 2 nights, and my eyes actually hurt.
Nice.
Who else is here?
Arlen Haro, as usual.
And Lou Gonzalez.
Are you all ready for some fucking hyper enthusiastic CW show talk?
Yeah, it's gonna be real great. Yeah. So
I don't think any of the shows were bad.
yeah, I agree.
I think they were all good to great.
I would certainly not. Well, it's. I think we, as a group, we're past like the fucking worst this network has had to offer so far.
Yeah. I don't see
because-
how they could really get as bad as they have been. So yeah.
I think all the shows have had bad seasons at this point, and all have learned their lesson. For some reason,
Yeah, I agree.
Legends was the quickest,
Mhm.
but I think they also had to be. If they had another
Legends
bad
first season, they were like, "We're not doing that shit again."
yeah,
Mhm.
they're like, oh, we need to be the comic, like the goofy, almost completely comedy, Quantum Leap, but with superheroes kind of a show.
Yeah, definitely. I think they figured it out. They figured out the number of episodes that they need.
Which was huge this year.
Tone, yeah, what the right exact budget is, and how much bad CGI the audience is willing to put up with. If it's in a well written episode. So yeah,
They've also done like awesome expansions on these characters. Like at this point, Nick is one of the greatest television characters of all time.
Yeah,
he's a goddamn like famous romance novelist.
Yeah,
like legit famous, and goes to romance cons, which is an episode.
Yeah,
there's an entire episode that's mostly about that.
Wait, I'm sorry. Repeat that again.
Yes.
So the books that he's been writing, yeah, he's gotten to make a whole series of them, and he's become like an E.L. James or a Stephanie Meyer.
Talking about Mick?
Yes, he has a student. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, and he ends up hiring Charlie to stand in for him, and then like fans start they start asking her questions, gatekeeping and all that, and she can't answer them.
And specifically, it's the new girl on the show. What is her name?
I can't remember. Food truck girl. Yeah, Layla or something. I don't remember. Yeah, my brain's working real well.
Yeah, so it's mine. By the way, for those, I still have Legends season 4, and that is I'm just gonna voice this issue with it now. Going into season 4, I was not too jazzed that basically like, hey, remember last season? Here's more of the same stuff.
It isn't and isn't. Like, definitely there's a first half. The first half of it's very lacking. When it came back from break with the Luchador Chupacabra kind of episode, it like really turned.
Yeah, they figured out a good direction with it, and this is the season where I think they take things the least seriously of any season, which is, I think that required an adjustment period.
They straight up say like, we got a call from like Oliver and Barry. Oh, we don't need to do the crossover this year.
Yeah,
that's definitely being no crossover. Hard pass.
Yeah, which they call back in the finale.
Yeah,
do they really?
Yes.
Yeah, they're like, we called them and they're not interested. This is below them, or something to that effect.
Yeah, and what's his name? Not Ray. What's the other one's name?
Nick, or not Nick? Is it
Nate?
Nate.
Nate goes, should have done the crossover.
Nick is his real name. Forgive me, audience that probably doesn't care.
But I feel like to kind of sum up that second half, what we learn is that because Nate's dad takes over, Hank, who is what's his name from Back to the Future.
Yes.
Biff.
Yeah. Biff takes over, and he has a plan.
It's amazing.
Which is the greatest thing ever. Which is, if I told you his plan was Jurassic Park, but with supernatural creatures that he captured from throughout time, you probably wouldn't believe me. But that's his plan.
Yes, he literally makes a deal with one of DC's versions of the devil in order to capture magical creatures to build the childhood drawing that Nate made of a magical land, like a SeaWorld, but with like fucking magical creatures.
This sounds more like Rick and Morty now than Doctor Who or Quantum Leap.
Yes.
It kind of goes there in some places.
Yeah.
Like, and there's a character they introduce who's the Italian contractor that's building it.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because why not?
Well, this sounds amazingly like the Fruity Land episode of season 3 of Rick and Morty.
I mean, it's like because Hank gets killed because he goes back on his deal, and then it's like all pissed and won't talk to his dad, and then they're trying to figure out. Constantine's like it's what's his name's wife? I can't remember. Nora is framed for Hank's murder, and Constantine's like, this doesn't seem right, and he does a seance where he summons Hank into Mick's body, and Nate will not come. And they have like a whole scene where Mick is doing like Nate, like the dad, the old man. And it goes into this whole thing, and Nate's like, oh, I can't believe my dad did this deal with like a demon, because it's Neron, who's like a big DC bad. And then when he finds the place, and his dad had been both signed a deal with a devil, and wasn't he also stealing money from the Time Bureau?
Mostly to build the park. That was the real purpose of it. And some of it was going to Neron, who was using it to capture monsters so he could build like an army. Because kind of. He wants... kind of. He really wanted souls. Because he's trying to... Yeah. Because his whole plan is a coup.
Yeah, basically. We also traveled to hell this season, like legitimately. Because Neron takes over Ray's body. And so for the final quarter of the season, Ray Palmer is the villain.
Yep. Brandon Routh gets to flex his villain chops. And as tends to happen in these shows, when someone who's a true blue hero gets to play villain, they usually kill it.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, he's up there with Evil Rip. Just very good. Very, very well done. And his performance is just very evil in like a very fun way.
He's mustache twirly, but like in a very like tongue-in-cheek way. Because he trades his soul in order for Neron not to kill Nate. On his body, and then Constantine chooses to go to hell to save him, and then gets given a choice to save him or I can't remember
the little girl.
The little girl that he is his whole backstory, and then it's revealed she's no longer a little girl; she's like an adult in hell. And they robbed the bank that has like the souls of the coins.
That introduced an entire aspect of the show that I was like, wait, what?
And they show
this grow up in hell.
And they show like a triumvirate that's running hell, and it's Lucifer, Beelzebub, and somebody else. And one of them is I think it was Pee Wee Herman.
No fucking way.
I mean, if it was, that's great, but I don't think any of them were anybody notable that I remember.
No, one of them was a big name. The one that played Lucifer.
Maybe.
I'll have to look it up.
But yeah, like they show up and they sort of trick John, the way that John usually does it. So then Nora goes in to save him after she decides to take over the role of the fairy godmother from earlier in the season.
Yeah, she gets tricked into it because she can do it to save I just said her name before, Mona, who becomes like a wolf man. And Gary also gets turned evil for a little while, and he has an evil nipple.
He has an evil third nipple. Yeah. Yeah, this show goes really goofy in this season. It gets real goofy real fast, and they needed that adjustment period. They needed to like slowly trickle in the goofiness because if it had just started at like 10 with Gary having a third evil nipple, like that would have been different.
And it's a callback to the first episode when the unicorn bites off his nipple.
Yeah, he gets the nipple back, and the nipple is all hell infused.
Yeah, so like he literally takes over the Time Bureau by making people look at his nipple.
What? Monster?
Monster wants to hear about this too, clearly.
Did you guys hear that?
Lightly.
Oh, now you got nothing to say.
Right, that's how it works.
Okay.
He's like
okay.
Yeah, no, he's like the ragtime frog.
You are going to sit there until we're done because you complained so much about coming in here, and now you get to wait it out. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
You're a prisoner here. Okay, we'll climb on my
Your soul is mine.
Yeah. I just got him in Mortal Kombat, and he's amazing.
That the one One of the episodes I loved was the one with Sarah and what the hell is her name? The head of the Time Bureau person.
Yeah, Ava.
Ava, where like they're kind of having to like deal with their relationship.
They're trying to figure out if they're gonna stay together, like if they're gonna do all the later stage relationship stuff, getting married, having kids, moving in all together, and that kind of stuff. And it's a really like emotional episode, actually, and they handle it very seriously. And yeah, it's a very strong episode, and it sort of is in line with that episode of Arrow from way back where they're trying to save Sarah's soul. Similar kind of idea. But of course, it's played for a few more jokes. But that's the thing, though. When Legends wants to be serious, it still has the ability to be serious. And that episode really, really works on that level. Yeah, and I think it's like right after the episode where they abduct Nixon, because of course they abduct Nixon. Why wouldn't
I
they?
expect nothing less.
Yeah, and it's a great episode because like it's them because they have to steal a RV. And they're trapped there, and at the same time, Nate is with his dad, and they're kind of talking about stuff. And it's like that side part is really heavy, and then as it goes through, Hank realizes that Nate's betraying him.
Yeah, that's the episode that's actually responsible for Nate's father dying, because Nate sort of touches something in him, and he realizes that he did something wrong. And actually, the episode following that immediately is the musical episode, where
the Bollywood one.
Yes, where they go full Bollywood. And again, like it's also amazing
because they capture a guy who has a thing that's like he's the Hindu god of love.
He's like he's like a sex demigod type thing.
So they do. There's a couple like basically everybody that he's in like I'm trying to think like pre-revolutionary, like he's in like the colonial time, but they're in England because Jane Austen is there.
Yeah, it's I can't remember what it's called. It's not like, Elizabethan.
Yeah, it's like Sensibility something playing that.
Yeah,
Sensibility.
Yeah, the writer of Sense and Sensibility shows up, and yeah, it's very Jane Austen-y, and then it turns into like Aladdin or any sort of classic Bollywood thing. And then also Mona is a werewolf, and that's also happening.
Well, and there's also, when they capture him, everyone on the ship has a wet dream.
Yes.
And we get to jump into a couple of their fantasies.
Mm-hmm.
I think alarmingly like another DC show that had something along those lines.
Yeah.
Because I guess in Patrol they meet a sentient street.
The Flex Metallo episode, right?
Yeah, which gives everybody an orgasm.
Yes, this is a little different because like
Fraser's robot character, who then reveals like, no, I just wanted to fit in. I wasn't feeling anything.
Yeah. The only other thing that's cool about the scene is like one, Zari has like a dream threesome with Nate and the god, and then Ray and Nora hook up in the bed, and it's the first time that they hook up.
Yeah.
Which builds on like I think the big story, like as we get to the end of the season, is that like Nate and Zari become a couple.
Yeah, they do, and then that's taken away. But I think that's a thing that happens at some point.
Wait, how's it get away?
Basically, it's the time travelness of everything because she's from the future.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, two of the finales of this go around are very similar, and they rely on very similar.
Wait a second! Did he just fucking get Vixened again?
Kind of.
For God's sake, stop it!
So it's like a heavy moment, though.
Yeah, I can't remember how it works exactly.
So it plays out that the computer basically tells them that if they're planned to use the Nate's World, the amusement park with the monsters.
Yeah. So the amusement park has like a Disney on Ice presentation show, and that's why they ask like Supergirl and Flash and Arrow to show up, because they're gonna do a show with monsters and creatures to save the world, to give children hope again,
which we skipped
or to give
over.
to give people hope.
Neuron's big plan, which is
Because
in Ray's body, he creates an app where if you see a monstrous creature, if you sign up for the app, you can report it, and then the Ray's forces, along with the Time Bureau, will come and capture it.
Right.
But in the user agreement is that you're selling your soul to Neuron.
Right, and they sort of establish that that's where the future Zari comes from. It's because of this thing that happens in this season. So if they stop Neuron, Zari no longer has to go on the run. She no longer has to be from a future where everything is bad. So as a result, she's not the bearer of that stone.
Yeah, and we see Kid Zari, like she's like 7 in 2019. Because she plays a big part in Kid Zari plays a big part in the plot. Yeah, and basically the ending is if she stays on the ship, she could be saved from the time change. But they're trying to figure out a way to beat Neuron with all this happiness, and people won't use the app. And then it's not really working. And then basically the plan B, which no one wanted to do, was that if Neuron killed Nate, then their deal would be off and Ray's soul would be released. So Constantine magic's like a switcheroo, and he straight up like chokes Nate to death.
Whoa.
And he dies, and then like he sits and has like a moment with his dad where they're both ghosts.
Yes, and then a song plays that they start singing, and everybody starts singing along to it, and that helps them save the day. I think
what they go with, it's the whole Monsters Inc. thing, which is if fear powers magic, then maybe love can power magic as well. Love. It's like the thing from the Elf. So like with like singing is the best way to raise Christmas cheer. So they are able to power up magic, and then Constantine brings Nate back to life.
That's right, because he gets the fairy godmother staff.
Yes.
So yeah, you have a minotaur playing a guitar, and
there's an ogre singing.
Yes, it's fantastic.
It's almost like if someone took acid and walked into Disneyland.
Yeah. Oh, that's exactly what it is. They create a monster jam band.
It's really something special.
Country bears, but with fucking monsters.
And one of the best parts of this is during this whole thing, Nora is stuck in that giant blue taffeta dress that the fairy godmother had been wearing, because the whole thing is Neuron fell in love with a woman in hell, and they keep saying they're bringing back Tabitha, and it's revealed to be the fairy godmother. So she's his like evil side, like she's the woman next to him that they're going to rule hell. And it's the same actress, like it's the old woman that played the fairy godmother.
It's pretty great. And there's a bunch of other little stuff that I would point out. We see Constantine's long lost relative. From like pagan England. Yeah.
And it is the most hilariously bad set ever of Stonehenge. But it's so good to have. I feel like in this show, when things are like so bad, it kind of actually adds to the character of the show.
It does. It's all part of the identity of this show, where just like bad sets, a very bad wig, but it's all part of the charm.
Like fucking Damien's wig from last season is still one of the funniest things this show has ever produced.
He looks like they picked up a wig off of like a Witcher cosplay and slapped it on his head.
There was points where like he did like a stunt moment, like an action sequence, and like the it would go completely rigid and like it would look like hair.
We almost missed the big hilarious reveal. So when Constantine finds Ray's soul in hell, he hears him screaming, and so he busts open the door, and instead it's Ray playing giant Jenga with the man who's been there, because he was always there.
Yes.
And
it was me. I was there. And he's like reformed.
Yes.
No, he does
like a good guy. Yes. Like he's cool.
They're literally like buddies. He's like, what was I even like after you about it? He's like, oh, it's this whole thing with the girl, but we don't even need to talk about it. He's like, oh man, I love that guy. It is like such a great scene.
Yeah, he gets like a
You're telling me they go to hell and Vandal Savage is there playing giant Jenga with Ray?
Yes, it's
He
great.
says that like, oh, they sent me in here to torture him, but then we just started talking. And so now we're just hanging out, bro. And like they just bro down in hell.
Yeah.
Thumbnail of this, and it's just that actor with a big, stupid fucking grin on his face.
It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, stuff like that is great. Yeah, there's some questions about this that this season leaves us on. The main one is how are they gonna like play around with the whole Zari being her brother now thing?
Yeah. They end where they're like Nate and her are hugging because she comes out to help. So like then he backs up and like they don't remember. And then now it's just her brother. And the only person who remembers the ship, I think.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. Which is interesting. I'm curious to see how they'll work with that. I imagine that's just going to be undone by the end of Crisis, maybe, unless that actress just doesn't want to be on the show anymore, which we'll see.
They came up with an interesting way to bring back, what's her name that played Vixen, which I actually liked her version of Charlie. Like, I liked having that character, the changeling, on the ship, and it just being like this weird thing and her doing the accent, which I'm guessing is her real voice.
I think it is as well. And I'm cool with it. But again, like she's one of the things that grows on you as the show.
I was going to say, that's interesting because the moment she showed up, I was like, fuck off with this. Because to me, it felt like dragging out the Nate Vixen stuff to the point where
they eject that. That's the thing. They eject all of that completely, and it kind of transitions over to Zari and their sort of thing that they have. But even that starts off more as like a I miss you type of thing, like because Nate leaves the ship, and then it sort of naturally develops into a relationship that feels kind of so that by the time it's like, do I choose Nate or do I choose my life here? It works. So yeah,
Nate should really stop falling for girls with totems.
I agree. Yeah. This is true. They should all have girlfriends and boyfriends off the ship, and that would be an interesting source.
Yeah, everyone should listen to Cisco.
That's true. This is very true. Yeah. And the other question that comes out of this season, which is very much set up for next season, and it's where I think the comment that, well, this is just what we saw last season, that this next season is where I'll be like, yeah, that's really true here, because they basically set up the woman who Constantine trapped in hell as sort of not the big bad, but sort of like someone who's going to be mid-season replaced.
Oh, that would be 3 seasons of magic is not what I want from this show.
Yeah. Okay. So what they're going to do with it is interesting, because they establish this thing where every soul is a coin. And you cash in the coin and own their soul, and you can do with whatever you want with their soul. So she steals a bunch of coins that are very high price and like very rare. And you see one of them is like Genghis Khan. One of them is
Genghis Khan, Stalin, Charlie Manson.
Yes.
There's like a bunch of other. I don't know if Hitler was one of them, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either. So that seems to be the story up to Crisis, probably, is them trying to take all these historical figures who will probably be in the wrong place.
What is this? It reads like that fucking holodeck sequence from Futurama where like Hitler shows up, like Genghis Khan shows up, and then who else shows up?
Yeah, it'll kind of be like that Dragon Ball Z movie.
Yes.
Plan to eradicate the Saiyans?
Yes. Yeah, where Go Tanks fights Hitler. Yeah, it'll be like that.
That was GT.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. Yeah. It was a Dragon Ball movie. It was the one that was the video game that they then turned into a movie.
That is not in the re-release.
No, it's the one where they fight Janemba, the giant Boo knockoff. Where he's a giant white belly with like the holes, and then he turns into the demon-looking thing with the sword.
Oh, it's fucking it's the Fusion movie.
Yes, it's like Fusion Reborn.
Yeah, that's the debut of Gogeta.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then like everybody on Earth, it's like I think it's supposed to take place after the Buu saga or like during it. Because
Yeah.
Gotenks is there and Gohan is in like the Great Saiyaman outfit. So it takes place during Buu saga at some point. And he's a Buu ripoff.
That's the biggest thing levied at Janemba. I was thinking Nappa shows up in GT for a hot second, and then
the ones that show up, it's Cell, Frieza, Bojack. It's like a bunch of the movie villains. I think Cooler and Lord Slug show up. It's like all the movie villains plus Frieza. So maybe Cell doesn't show up.
But
anyways.
And Paul Rubens did do a voice in that episode in Hell.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
Specials where Frieza, Cell, and somebody else, not Cell, Frieza and a couple movie villains come back.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's the plan to eradicate the Super Saiyans was that one where fucking that Hachiyak robot shows up and then...
Oh, God, Hachiyak.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you go by the DBZA treatment, he's Santa Claus.
I love that version.
I think that's the first abridged thing Arlen watched.
Probably. Yeah.
But anyway, I guess we could transition to Supergirl if we want.
Yeah, I mean, just like, do you have any questions, Connor? After hearing all this,
this sounds like I have to absorb a lot of it. So
I love that it was a shorter season, but like it is bonkers.
Yeah,
of a season.
Mm-hmm. Real crazy, but it's I'd say it's a good season now.
I want them to go back to something more season 2-esque in the future.
Yeah,
even if this season was good, I don't think they've hit that height again yet because season 2 felt fucking tense the whole fucking time. Even Eobard aside, the Legion of Doom episode was amazing, and I don't think I have a more favorite episode.
Well, we kind of got that this season with the episode where Constantine and Charlie, because Charlie's powers are messed up. So Constantine takes the time jumper thing and goes to stop himself from like he breaks up with his ex who Neron takes over, and they keep trying to fix it every time like the team is more jacked up. So that's where we get like the team where it's like the Charlie's Angels version where only the women survived at some point, or the like guys are like all Rambo'd out.
Yeah, it gets real fucking nuts.
Is that where we get the puppet episode too?
Yeah, well, no, the puppet episode is like right before that, and the puppet who shows up again to be part of the theme park, which is just no.
Yeah, well, she's in the puppet of what's his name from.
He's in the puppet of Stein. Yeah, and it's
yeah, he shows up in the again at the finale. Like they call back everything.
Mm-hmm. But I think I see what Connor's saying about like the season 2 is kind of a nice balance of being serious and goofy.
Yeah, I think the problem is villains. Like who could like the Legion made sense because of the other shows.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I agree. Yeah,
like
because yeah.
Like none of these characters have really interacted with anybody from the other shows but those three.
That and like how many more fucking demons you're gonna have come along to possess somebody?
I think they're gonna move away from like demon stuff. I think they're gonna do something more hard sci-fi ish, especially post Crisis. Justify a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, they're not coming back till January.
The big season 2 finale, like cliffhanger, was like, congratulations, you broke time. And there's like a T-Rex running around like, contemporary, whatever the fuck. And that gets resolved in like 30 seconds, basically?
Well, because Rip created the Time Bureau.
Yeah, he's like, I have the solution for this off screen. By the way, magic.
Well, that's one of the things is unless they bring in other big DC characters, like time characters, like what do you do with this show? Like I would actually love to see Rip come back in some sort of way.
Well, I think that there's a lot of stuff that plays into it. Like Booster Gold sort of being locked away in a weird sense, like being in sort of a weird void where it's happening and it's not happening at the same time.
Him and Blue Beetle are in this like prism that they're constantly kind of referred to in all the shows, but never shown.
Yeah, like here's the thing, like I don't hate Booster Gold, but who at Warner Brothers is like, nah, man, we gotta make a Booster Gold.
No. So here's the thing: it's not even one of those situations. The producer of all this stuff, Berlanti, wants to direct the Booster Gold movie.
Well, they were trying to do a sci-fi TV show. Like
they were. They were talking about it, but then DC saw all his success with this CW stuff, and they wanted him to do a movie. And now DC is the DC that we currently have to exist with, where we don't know what's happening and what's not until like a month before it's about to come out or before there's a trailer. So, like, for all we know, that Booster Gold movie is never happening. But because there's a chance it might happen, they can't use Booster Gold, which would be perfect.
But he wouldn't be a villain. He couldn't really be a villain for this.
I'm just saying, just as an additional character, like as an additional foil for these characters to sort of bring in and to add something different to the show.
The whole putting with that thing. Remember when they took Deathstroke from Arrow? So he's going to be in Justice League 2.
Yeah.
And now Justice League 2 is probably not happening. And Joe Manganiello is probably never going to be Slade again. Like, how stupid does this all look?
Yeah, it looks dumb. It looks ridiculous.
I would not, when we get to it, but I would bet a lot of money on him coming back next season.
Oh, it's going to fucking happen.
Yeah.
But this whole, also for a studio and for a collective property that seems to be just fine with having 2, sometimes 3 versions of a character across several different mediums. I don't see why you can't have a TV Booster Gold, maybe a movie Booster Gold later down the line.
I agree. You
just had the Flash in a Justice League movie, and there's 5 seasons of the TV show. It's fine.
The only character that they seem fine to do it with really is Brainiac. I feel like we've had 17 Brainiacs.
A character like that is slightly different, but I agree. I feel like there's a Brainiac in every single universe.
I think there's been 2. Has there been 2 in Supergirl?
Technically yes, because of the whole Brainiac 5 stuff that we saw, and there was that girl who's from his planet.
Honestly, I think the Injustice 2 Brainiac performance is fucking amazing. So he's kind of my favorite version of him. Although everything I can't believe I'm going to say this, but here it is. I'm going to back away from the microphone so people can actually hear my palpable shame. Krypton looks fine.
Yeah.
Krypton looks interesting. Shut up, Alan.
Yeah.
And I know a few months ago I was like, fuck this show for Doomsday, but everything I see from that show, I'm like, wow, Doomsday looks really good.
It looks like they're doing their own thing with it and they're having fun. So I mean, there's a certain level of respect I have to have for it, and there are people who like it. The difference is it doesn't look like they're doing anything sacrilegious to me. Unlike another certain show.
I still want to watch all of Gotham just to see all of it in its context. Because I want to see how Dick Cheney Joker actually forms. But the Brainiac I saw from Krypton is the most legit looking on-screen Brainiac I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
And the only character that looks why is Lobo? What?
It's because
why is he there?
That people know, I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't know a single person, not a single one, from a casual acquaintance to a best friend territory, who's man, you know a fucking DC character I love? Lobo.
Well, because he's the only cool character from the 90s that DC had. That was he's DC's Deadpool.
He's gonna get his own show now.
Yeah.
And to that, I'm like, you found out what Too Much Lobo is, a TV show.
Yeah.
He's not a good guy. He's not even super interesting. He's interesting when he pops in and fucks shit up.
Yeah.
Right. Or he's interesting as a parody. In Justice League Unlimited. He's hilarious. Because he's just doing a parody of himself, and it's the guy who played the brother on Everybody Loves Raymond, and he's just
what?
He's chewing the scenery.
Wow,
yeah.
I didn't know his name, but actually, that's my favorite version of his voice. I love that voice.
I gotta find this right now. What is Lobo Justice League Unlimited?
Yeah. It's he's in a hand. Well, he was also in Superman. He first appeared in Superman, where they got kidnapped by a collector that was not Brainiac.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on a second. Let me keep going.
I'm pretty sure it's that dude, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he voices him.
What's his name? I don't know.
Brad Garrett.
Yes, that's his name, Brad Garrett. That's 100%.
And yeah, he's credited as playing him in Justice League. So yeah,
It is Brad Garrett. Oh my god,
he does a ton of voiceover work because he has that giant, deep voice.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a comedian, so he can play funny stuff. So
Lobo, that's your villain for. But then again, like they've already taken him for Krypton, so we can't do Lobo as a Legends villain. And he would be perfect.
I like that the rest of the league is drawn like you expect them to look, and Lobo is drawn like he just walked out of an episode of Freakazoid. Like he looks ridiculous.
Yeah, but the design is great.
God damn it! Hang on.
The only thing I was thinking was that, like, and I don't know this, like, I don't really read Legion, but, like, could they do something with the Legion? Because we see them appear on Supergirl. Like, is there a villain?
I really think they're waiting for Crisis because...
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, here's the thing. With the future, you can establish a different Legion of superheroes pretty easily. And, yeah, I don't see where the problem would be.
The only thing that would be interesting is if they played with multiverse stuff with them.
Mm-hmm.
And like maybe we got like a evil Legends team.
That could be cool.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't just do mirror images of them. Give them
like different versions.
The evil Justice League.
Like Ultraman and
the Crime Syndicate, like it's Superman, but it's not Superman, and it's like it's Clark Kent, but it's not Clark Kent.
Yeah.
I would do characters that are similar but like slightly different. So instead of like Mick, I would have like Weather Wizard or something like that, or Trickster, or instead.
Well, I mean, if we're doing like Legends version of that, it would have to be a character who was once good who turned bad. So why not do Ronnie? Yeah, evil Ronnie.
Well, that's if you can get him is the problem.
Well, yeah, but I mean, just an evil Firestorm will work.
You just get a different actor, and basically have him. You know, he was in the same place Ronnie Raymond would have been, and he's suppressing Professor Stein.
Yes. I'm trying to think who else. Like instead of Sarah, maybe get Laurel on the.
Yeah, that could be a thing. Especially or you could do I mean, you could just go really deep into the Legion of Shadows or Legion of Assassins thing and do fucking Shiva.
Lady Shiva would be awesome.
Yeah,
or if they want to get that's Nissa to be like a remaining evil version of Nissa.
Bring fucking what's his face back and just do another evil Rip.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
yes.
But he was never good. Like he's always been just a piece of shit.
Right. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Do that. We're giving this to you, CW.
CW.
Yeah.
It's a different show before we spend the whole night talking about Legends.
So let's jump to Supergirl.
Yeah. I didn't finish.
And now the time is.
Oh my god! I would say it's definitely the best season of Supergirl.
Yes.
I love the idea because it's kind of what Flash did, but I think they did it better here with like the mid-season villain.
Mm-hmm.
So one is it? I can't remember. It's Citizen
Liberty. Agent Liberty. Agent Liberty
is great villain. I love the backstory episode where you're like, oh, this is how man kind of falls.
Right, and I love that it's plot. I love that like
it's the Supergirl driven.
Yeah. I love that somebody said, okay, what have we never really seen Lex do before? We've never really seen him beat by beat lay out an evil plan that's very, very complicated and very hard to understand, even if you're Lex. But you see it play out and you see the minutia of it. Like, it's not a thing of like, well, I've almost got my things together now and it's all coming together. No, you get to see his plan as it's really starting and how it works.
It's
and
like
how
the Sherlock
builds.
Sherlock Holmes movies.
Mm-hmm.
But with Lex. And it's just like every part of the entire series, the show, was part of his game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so good.
And you see it play out very, like he's very Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. It's fantastic.
And Pryor plays it so well because he starts off so subdued, and he's subdued, but he's also like,
I heard towards the end he just starts unloading.
Oh, he's amazing at the end. But like in the beginning, he's very subdued, and he's very like, I'm trying to figure out, like, he's still like kind of like shitting on everybody around him, but he's definitely like trying to play up a certain thing. And then when kind of the stuff happens with Lena and the mom, because like the scene when because basically the whole, like, everything is a setup, and they end up in the White House, and the scene with the mom and stuff, he's like, if I wanted you dead, you'd be dead. And he's like, oh, and like, mom, like, don't put the plutonium in my goddamn drink to try to poison me. And like,
yes, like they kind of become the Addams family at the end, like, or the Munsters, the Luther family.
Hey, hold on, I just did a quick search. Does he get his fucking power suit?
Oh yes, that's the thing that I'm singing.
I'm glad that I would have preferred seeing it in the show because I would have lost my mind, but I don't know when I would have gotten to it, and I know it's there. I'm definitely more inclined to go watch it.
They straight up do. It's completely hilarious Iron Man. Like, obviously, it doesn't look as good, but it's the purple and green, and then he does the head RDJ thing, and he's singing "At My Time" by Frank Sinatra. Well, when he, because the whole thing is the Red Sun story, I actually think is great too. Like, I actually love that whole backstory and showing how he manipulates her.
And all that stuff. So he just builds all these sort of pieces around himself, and she just shows up randomly. And I guess because of things that happened in the previous season of Supergirl, which, as far as we know, it ended in like episode 15, and things were very weird when it ended. But
it never ended. I mean, it ended right there, and they just woke up like, that was a weird dream.
Yeah, what they did, and I won't say the name of the show, is they took something directly from that show, and when they play with different colors of kryptonite. So specifically, the black one splits you into, it's like the Superman.
Yes, and that's a rule that was established in the show that shall not be named.
Yes.
I believe it was. I think that's where it was first established, at least. And it's used to great effect in that show. I would say, using Sam Witwer, oddly enough.
Use it for him. They use it for Rosenbaum's Lex at one point. But yeah, so like that's how she gets split off. So she's like a blank slate Supergirl that gets dropped off, and they kind of do a good job of like, well, the only thing she remembers is Alex, which and attributes
it's Lex.
Yes,
yeah. It's a.
I'm reading something that sounds like something that the Joker would do. That Lex apparently fucking does.
Oh, is it Turn the Sun Red?
Involving a courtroom?
Oh, yes. Scene is great. Yeah, that's after he turns
himself. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the flashback to Lena, how we find out that he's in jail. So he turned the sun red at one point.
You told me that. Yes. And that's when Lena was like, are you out of your fucking mind? He's like, yes.
And he's like, oh, can't you hear them cheering? They're like obviously screaming. And then it's the courtroom scene, and it's like Godfather 2 style. It's like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, I don't care. Like I said, it's like, you're not going to be able to tell anyone. And everyone's like, what? And like the entire jury, the entire prosecution staff, like all the security there, the judge, basically everybody but Lena just drops dead.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
And My Way is playing. And
I would call it an overcorrection, but like, this is really good.
Yeah, but it goes to like the machinations. And like, when he gets the power suit, he's singing My Way as he's becoming
again in the courtroom, though. It's set up. They set it up with the courtroom. So by the time he's in the suit and he's fighting an entire army as that song is playing, it's because
he basically sets everything up where he puts the president in thing because he uses Agent Liberty to oust what's her name that was Wonder Woman, Linda Carter, as president. So the vice president is his puppet. And he does all this stuff. He uses Red Sun Supergirl to make everyone hate Supergirl, and then basically saves the world from like imaginary Russian country.
Yeah, Kesnia.
Yeah, not Belarus as I call it.
Sokovia.
Yeah. and basically becomes
what was it? What was it? Hold on, wait. The Corto Maltese.
well,
Yes.
that's real.
Well, yeah, that's based off of a real place.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very similar idea, and he basically orchestrates a war between America and a small dictatorship, and it's all to sort of make him into the hero, basically, because that's what he wants,
And
that's what he's always wanted.
Yeah, and Red Sun Supergirl shows up, and then he shoots her, so now he's killed Supergirl, who attacked the White House as well.
Mhm.
But she didn't actually kill Supergirl, although I do think that's the other part of the entire... So there's like several like B-plots. I do like the whole Agent Liberty, but I love the stuff with Alex, her sister, that they do, because they get a new person in charge of the DEO with this new president, because John Jones can't be because he's an alien, so he gets kicked out.
He did.
He quit.
But they wanted to overcorrect, so they hired somebody who like hates aliens and trains aliens.
It's another Amanda Waller.
Yeah, because Waller isn't in this universe, so not Amanda Waller, who they established as a bad person.
Yeah.
But yeah,
John Jones.
What's her name? Mandy Florer.
He basically has to. Everyone that knows Supergirl's secret identity agree, that work at the DO agree, including her sister, to have their minds wiped of that. Yeah. All memories associated with it. So basically, Alex and Kara now have like a very weird relationship because she doesn't know she's Supergirl, and then a lot of their childhood memories are just gone.
Yeah, or they're like weirdly cut off at certain moments. And it's this big running thing where she has to not have her sister there to support her. And there are even moments where her sister hates her because of things that she does as Supergirl. And there's all this sort of like playing around with secret identities and stuff. And I think it's some really strong storytelling that they use.
Yeah. Not to mention all the stuff they do with Dreamer, which I think worked really well, especially her and Brainiac.
I think that developed really naturally, and it didn't feel like a forced CW thing, which happens sometimes where it's like...
It felt like the Oliver Felicity thing.
Yeah, it did not... Yeah, it was not a Oliver and Season 1 Laurel, which... so that was good.
Like, by the end of Arrow, by the end, where we're at now with Arrow, like, I can't imagine those two not being together.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
The other thing is like
there's still people out there who are like, I stopped watching that show when Felicity stood up.
Well, those people were right to do so at that moment, at that time. That's fair. But if you didn't get back after we told you season 5 was great, well, that's your loss. Because
the thing I love, like real Brainiac out of Brainy, like that. It's like only for one episode, but like him dealing with it and like pushing it, like when it comes up and then trying to push it back down is amazing. Like, and it shows like how that species is like such an issue. Like it's just built into them.
Yeah, basically they're basically perfect like dictator machines, and so they need that time to develop and to become more human in order to be even like functional with us. They're
kind of like they're kind of like hyper intelligent Daleks, I would say. Like,
kind of, yeah.
They're entire like where like it's really hard to beat out of what they are.
Definitely.
Because because it comes to the thing, and it's like, oh, what should we do? It's like, well, you know, we need, like, in order to figure out where they are, we need somebody to be captured. And he just like karate chops Dreamer and just like, oh yeah, I left her there because she can get captured.
Well, he lets 2 people get captured.
Yeah, and then John Jones is like, what the hell? He's like, you know what? You're right. I should, like, it doubles our chances. And like karate chops him and fucking lets him get captured.
Because they can both. He assumes that since they can both astral project, that they'll be able to astral project to him. He doesn't assume that maybe the bad guys will have a dampening device. They do some really good stuff with that. That's the thing I would say that is really the strongest part of this whole season. Every character is very true to who they are supposed to be or who they've been up until this point. And that's where a lot of the drama and conflict and the fun stuff comes from. Who these characters are.
Because we didn't even talk about the Elite and Manchester Black, which is interesting in John Jones's whole side thing of dealing with being like not being what his father wanted him to be, or like a piece of man and becoming the like full on going Martian Manhunter.
And he has these moments where like he becomes Space Punisher for just an episode, like.
But he's awesome.
he's like, I will hunt you.
But like that is in many forms of the comic, that is what he was until becoming the hero of Earth. He was a manhunter. I do love, and it's probably like the last thing I have to say about Supergirl is that the way they wrap up Agent Liberty. So basically, because he gets like so crazy, and obviously the entire thing is a analogy for the current political climate, and so he revs everything up so hardcore that he like they're going to people's houses and taking people who have not been registered as aliens, and one of the people, the wife, shows up at his house because he's a public figure and kills the shit out of his wife. And his son through the whole show has been kind of like weird, and like he took place in a raid and sees that one of his school friends is there that he didn't know was an alien, and basically the kid turns and is like, yeah, the aliens didn't kill mom, you did all this, like you started all of this stuff, you haven't even been home. He literally left his mom's funeral in like the first like 10 minutes after giving a crazy speech. And the kid like loses his shit on him. And
then at some point he gets hurt and he has to take this serum that they sort of set up throughout the season that gives you superpowers, basically.
It's the serum based on the same shit that they did for Porn Sauron last season or something.
It's similar to that. Yeah, it's based off the same stuff.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Whatever. The character has been wiped from my memory.
Lex tricks what's her name, Lena, into making it because he actually does have cancer.
And does Jimmy get it? Yeah, Jimmy gets it.
He sets it up where that's the turn where we find out that her assistant is actually Tessmacher. And she shoots Jimmy in the back, and so they use him as a test subject. And we do get the line of him screaming, Tessmacher! Yeah, so at some point there's a fight between Jimmy and Agent Liberty, and it's the only time he's ever completely needed to have that suit on, and where it's felt earned, and like, oh, I actually like this because you gave him a reason to fucking be here and to be fighting somebody. Because they established this sort of conflict between him and that character. Who they also, in the beginning of the season, liked him because he was a human hero. And he went undercover with them and like a thing. And then he actually loses his eye in the fight, Jimmy. Yeah. Wait, doesn't he get like an eye patch? Yes, he straight up looks like Nick Fury. Yeah, he does have one episode that is amazing, which is when he gets the thing in him. If you're like, if your adrenaline gets too spiked, it'll like straight up kill you. And he has like PTSD in his like from getting shot. And that episode's so good. And they do this thing where Brainiac kind of does like a mind meld thing to deal with his original trauma. Basically, he has trauma because he, what was it? He ran away from his father's funeral, or that's what he believed. Like he believed that he was too. And the other part is his sister is there, who is an army psychologist, and she's like, "Yeah, like I don't want to talk about it. It really hurt me. He left me alone, like at the funeral." And they go into his head, and that's not what happened. Yeah. They find out that it was like bullies or whatever, and it's just a very good sequence where, and it's just there's like a lot of episodes where character building episode, where it's like there are episodes that are clearly there to sort of fill space, but like they do something interesting with that. They take advantage of the fact that, well, we have to fill this space with something. What should we do with it? Well, let's give this character a lot of development and make them more interesting in some way. Which they even do with the fake Amanda Waller. Like, they do some stuff with her that's like, oh, because Alex starts kind of like, when she's talking to Jimmy's sister, and like, oh, like, well, maybe you shouldn't go at it this way with anger, like kind of logic her. And that's what ends up turning her. Yeah, she uses what she knows about her to her advantage to sort of sway her to her point of view. It's just a really smartly written show this season. And I like Jimmy's sister as an added character. Yeah, I like that Alex is. Spoilers: Alex isn't single anymore. It would seem. So that's nice. Do we want to talk about the one part of the ending with Lena?
Which part exactly? Oh, Lena finds out, right?
Yes, Lex tells her.
Out. Yeah.
Throughout the whole last couple of episodes, Kara's trying to figure out if she should tell her, and Lex, because Lena straight up kills Lex, and Lex is like, "Oh, you're such an idiot," and hits like a button, and it's like everybody knowing that she's Supergirl except for Lena.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and basically the last kind of scene is they're all playing like a game at Kara's house, and the Lena's there, and Kara's talks to her Alex and's like, "Oh, should I tell her?" It's like, well, let's give her one good day. Like, her brother just died. Because what everybody thinks is that Supergirl killed Lex when she blew up his suit, but he teleported away and Lena shot him. And then it goes back to her office and she slams the glass on the photo of everybody in her because she thinks that they've been making a fool out of her this entire time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Lex isn't dead because I know for a fact that the Monitor came in at the last second.
That I was going to say, we're going to save that. I thought we're going to talk about all the Monitor stuff, I guess, if we get through all the shows. But yes, there are 2 Monitor things in Supergirl that are pretty big, and that being one of them.
Okay. We should get to Arrow and Flash then.
Yeah. I would say let's jump to Flash and leave Arrow since that's almost a series finale-ish.
Very much.
That's what it felt like.
Season 8 is going to be a victory lap, and that's going to be it. It's not.
I also want to spend time on you and me shit talking Godspeed.
Oh, yes, good. Yeah, we can fucking do that.
Okay.
Yeah. I did not realize till just now that is the episode that Danielle Palmbacher directed.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel bad for her because I was
she got saddled with the worst actress on Earth.
She got saddled with also just a garbage arc. With a really bad realization of a really good comic book character who, the more I look at his suit, I'm like, you fucked that up too.
It's such a waste. It's I don't know how to describe it any more than just a goddamn waste.
I feel like someone internally was like, I mean, if we're committing to doing speeches again, we gotta do Godspeed. We gotta do it right now. And they fucking. It's the worst. It is not as bad as The Rival, but it's bad.
I don't know. Because The Rival, I don't care about as a character. And at least he's
okay, on that end, I agree. The Rival sucks and who cares?
And at least he's a version of the character that makes sense. This version is, in the super future, is not at all what he is in the comics. And in fact, is basically Zoom 2.0.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, I need velocity, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna kill this forensic detective for no fucking reason.
Yeah. And everybody has the gauntlets from Mass Effect.
Yeah, everybody has an Omni tool.
I don't know. It's this season had huge ups and downs. This was a huge dip.
Oh, this was one of the biggest this was the episode that took the most wind out of my sails. Luckily it didn't stay that way for long, but I was looking forward to this character being set up as something of a mystery that would go forward. Maybe even pop up next season during something, some of their events and kind of be a big problem. Nah. He's beaten by a new speedster who doesn't understand how to use her powers, on her first fucking day.
And they could have used any character because, I understand the setup that they're going for in that episode with why she would go to Thawne. But they could have literally used any other character for her to fight.
They could have you could have done a different version of The Rival. You could have done anybody else. You could have done
It didn't even have to be a speedster. It could have been something else.
Somebody else.
It could have been another and I'm only because I'm the current Flash comic right now. It could have been Turtle, which would have been interesting.
There you go. Fuck. Because isn't he referenced in the Flash Museum at some point too as being a big deal?
Who, Turtle?
No, Godspeed.
Godspeed? No, it's a Red Death.
That's right, Red Death. Speaking of that, there are strong rumors that Red Death is coming.
Well, they basically gave nothing for next season at the end of the season.
Yeah.
It was all crisis teams.
Yeah. And, Thawne is very clearly being set up as the antagonist going forward. The big bad again. That being said, I liked 90% of the cicada stuff.
I liked most of it. I liked both actors.
Until they were like, look, here's his really stupidly overpowered niece who's not as interesting.
Yeah, they didn't make her as central though, and that made it sort of more okay for me.
She was a pawn in Thawne's game. By the time she comes around,
yeah,
you were like, there's something afoot here.
Yeah, well, really, once they start focusing on like Thawne as sort of being he's not really even the big bad of this season. He's more like just
he's a puppet master.
Yeah, he's the guy sort of controlling things and moving things around. This season felt like a lot of setup. Like, this is sort of and people have shit on these movies a lot. It's sort of the Age of Ultron or the Iron Man 2 season, I guess. But I think it does a better job because it's a whole season and it allows sort of the setup and the sort of building of characters and characters that we're going to see again and sort of elements to sort of flow naturally.
That and this,
because I think a lot of stuff is going to be essential to Crisis.
Yeah, that and they seem to be interested in I think we talked about it a while back that there was some talk I saw from the writers and producers that said that they were very taken aback by the positive reaction to the Thawne cameo during the Particle Accelerator flashback, where he was like, "Hey, well," he's like, "Hey, DeVoe, big fan." And I guess people were like, "Huh?"
I still wonder why he said big fan, but
well, because he's from the future, so he would know.
Well, no, because I mean,
he would probably look back at him and go, "What a fucking moron!"
Yeah, that might have been sarcastic.
Yeah, you could definitely make that as sarcastic, or maybe he's just like anybody that's against Barry he's like, yeah, he did dick around with Barry.
I don't know. I feel like Eobard was like, "How dare you call yourself a Flash adversary?"
Yeah, right. It's like you got him sent to prison for like a week.
You got him sent to prison where Goldberg saved him. So yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot Goldberg was in this show. It was actually a good character.
I liked Big Sir.
Yeah.
Best ending of the entire season.
I do agree that the daughter, she kind of became annoying.
Excess? Yeah, Nora.
Not her. Fucking Cicada or
too.
She became annoying, but again, she was so. As the show went on, she was so off to the center, or not even off to the side.
She was a tool. That's what she turned into.
Like she really didn't have a purpose all her own.
Well, that was why I didn't really enjoy them just kind of removing Chris Klein as the villain, because like everything from his characterization to like the way he was posturing himself and just like do the physical acting as the bad guy, just immediately I was like, all right, I'm all about this dude.
I think they could have held on it longer. I think they could have stuck with him longer, just a little bit, like 2 episodes.
Yeah,
I liked the idea though of like him poisoning the niece and then how he kind of returns in her head and all of that stuff. But I feel like what you're saying with setup, like I feel like half the season was like, all right, we need to get Thawne back and we need to create a metahuman cure. How do we get there?
We need to set up a lot of stuff. I do agree. Like the idea of he has poisoned his niece and turned her into a villain through his very existence. As an idea, I like that. I'm just not really a big fan of that actress's performance, like Connor is saying, and I just don't. I don't know if the writing I don't know if it's as strong or if it's just that Chris Klein's performance worked really well.
Here's the thing, and like Chris, there's a lot of some of the best stuff that comes out of people in this show is great chemistry, which is usually conveyed through a lot of sincerity, or like when people are doing a lot with nothing. And like Chris Klein was, when they cast him, I was like, fuck you. Like he's terrible. And in this, I'm like, oh, he's terrifying. Like, he's just, he's that dude at work you'd walk by and go like, hey, I should give you a chocolate bar today so you don't come in and shoot me in 2 years.
He's the giant.
And you remember me from that one particular moment.
Yeah. But like, I never realized like how goddamn big he was huge. Like, he's a bulking figure. And then the wheezing thing was perfect. Like, it's such a good... And they also, the design of that character came out awesome because he looks dumb in the comics.
Oh, yeah, fucking Fu Manchu, isn't he?
Well, he's like a weird alien-y looking thing.
Yeah, he's a bald dude with like a white kind of pointy beard.
Yeah.
And he has like and the lightning dagger is way goofier looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lightning dagger, by the way, I don't necessarily like the way that they set it up in the show because it was really, really poorly done. But
Yeah.
I thought the actual reveal itself was a good reveal. And I thought that was a good way to integrate Thawne and these two characters together.
Well, they also got to kind of have their cake and eat it too because the whole like his in Flash Rebirth, like he's for some reason walking around with this like big stick with a pointy like lightning blade at the end of it. And I know they somewhere online said they were going to be pulling a little bit from that, and I honestly thought season 4 was going to be it. I was fucking wrong. I'm still not sure how Barry got out of the Speed Force. I have no idea. Because they even said like they were like, "Oh yeah, Cisco didn't do that." Aha! And then like they just don't.
We're gonna get answers to that
in the season. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like
because the negative Speed Force, and the Lightning Dagger are it is a cicada thing, but it's also a Thawne thing. So I think.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna keep going with that, then the reason Barry got the Speed Force in the first place is because Thawne was like, yeah, I pulled you out because I kind of needed you out of there, and I and orchestrated the whole and everything about that. But anyway,
well, we also get the addition of the Mirror Gun, which is directly tied to the real Mirror Master, I guess, not the shitty TV show one, but like the other guy that actually uses the gun. And it looks just like the comic book gun.
Oh, that's right, because the fucking dude in the show didn't have a gun.
No, he just had mirror powers. Yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, so now they have the mirror gun for that guy. And I'm trying to think what was the other thing. I just lost it. I don't know, like, how did you guys feel about and I think it was mostly like filler built into the dagger, the meta tech. I mostly thought the meta tech was really fucking stupid.
No, I thought it was stupid because then we had like probably like the worst villain of the season, which is like Headline Girl.
Oh, Headline Girl. Not Weather Witch.
They brought that back, but I agree it was kind of dumb.
I do think
the new
she was as bad as Angry Tech Boy from season 4.
Twitch guy, the purple.
Yeah.
The new Rogue episode was good.
Well, I just love the version of Ragdoll is so good and creepy as fuck.
I actually showed someone at work because we were talking about I think like competition shows, and I was like, "You ever see that dude in fucking America's Got Talent?" We were talking about horror films. And I was talking about that dude from America's Got Talent, the contortionist, and Deanna, this girl I worked with, is like, I've heard about him, haven't seen him. I was like, that dude got picked up for the Flash TV show, and I described what he looked like, and she went, "Oh fuck no."
Which is like that's one of the times when CW pulls like a F-list character, and they do such an amazing job with him.
Yeah, he was downright terrifying.
And when you saw him use his powers, when he crushes his fingers.
Oh god, yeah. I was telling him about that specifically. I was like, yeah, at some point he just like smushes his fingers and fits between a vent. Also, I did mention his first appearance was he steals a necklace and then he spins his head around. And he responds, she's like, that necklace is his. She goes, nope, you can have it. It's fine. I didn't like it that much anyway.
Can we talk about how goddamn amazing Ralph Dibny is in the show and how the show could not exist without him?
Ralph Dibny is my favorite addition to this show, I think. Yeah.
I honestly don't know if they could continue this show without him right now.
Yeah.
With Cisco leaving?
Well, especially with Cisco leaving. But I mean, he's the one that solves the goddamn thing at the end. He dives in front of the mirror gun, basically committing suicide to save everybody. And they're just like, oh, what do we do?
Yeah, and effective, it kind of like it's the closest thing you can get to actually killing him, but they fix him later on, don't they?
Yes. They literally just like blast him. That's Sherlock's answer. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, it should fix him. It's like, should? Well, like,
wait, what does he say early in the season or about the robot? Or about Amazo. He's like, it's a robot, yeah? Or it's a computer, right? And he goes, turn it off.
Yes. That's the okay. So that's the other thing. I think that they kind of like beat themselves with fucking Sherlock. I don't know
Oh my
how you
god, I
go
love him so much.
better than this. Like,
And Tom
yeah.
Cavanaugh said he loved playing Sherlock so much.
He just gets to do that terrible French accent. That's like that's hilarious.
Well, I think he's French Canadian.
He's definitely Canadian.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I think he can speak French. So I think whatever accent he's doing is probably a little more.
It's definitely a TV show.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I mean, like it's very over the top.
Yeah.
And I think he makes it work.
But yeah, his solution for Ralph was like, you shot him once, right? Screwed him again.
Yes, that was good. But like, I love that he had a mystery that he was solving because, of course, why not? He's called Sherlock, so
that and I
solve a mystery.
Was a huge fan of him being Tom Cavanaugh, walking up to Harrison Wells's wheelchair, and he's like, "I am Harrison Wells." I'm like, this is ridiculous meta bullshit right now. he's like, so if I'm a man of secrets, but I want to keep my secrets extremely close. Bloop, secret compartment.
I love like he sits in the chair and then does like the kind of lean that he did when he was like Eobard Wells.
Yeah, he puts the fucking his hand up to his chin and everything. I just like the fact that the show has kind of come back around to appreciating the legacy and impact that Wells' character has, because I feel like for like seasons 2 and 3 they were like, yeah, whatever. And we're trying to get away from Thawne a lot, but like now it's like they're like, no, we can't really get away from his fucking shadow because that's Eobard. Like,
well, they did a bunch of things that they fixed, which I think is like the other character, which is Iris, and I think they did what they could to kind of set her back on track.
Well, they gave her something to do except stand around Star Labs and be mean to people.
Yeah, she still really does like the dumb TV thing that they do. It's like, all right, I know like 17 superheroes, but I'm gonna sneak into this house by myself.
Yeah, that got real annoying after.
Yeah.
Well, the show tries to tell us that she's far more physically capable of handling herself than we've ever like. At least Laurel was like, yeah, I did tie bow or some bullshit. Like
they should be very similar because both their dads are cops.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I will say this though. One of the smart things that they did with this season was sort of her season arc is getting over the sort of secondhand guilt from future her being kind of a shitty mom. And she's a shitty mom because of all the things that we have said is wrong with this character in other seasons. And it's like the show directly addressing us specifically, and like fixing those things on screen. And I thought that they did a very good job with that. I think that some episodes they handled it maybe not as well as they could have. I thought the episode where Barry's like, "No, listen to your mother," that was really fucking dumb. That's from like.
The one that I think screams like what is going on is when Barry goes after the reveal with Thawne. It's like, and just takes Nora away, and then Iris is all shitty about it. It's like, why are you being shitty? She's working with the dude that killed his mom.
Yeah, I agree. But it's the only time where I'm like, yeah, Barry, maybe you should have like at least said something first. Maybe for like a second.
Yeah, but the thing is though, like after the 100th episode, like the events of that episode with Barry taking his daughter who's not born yet in his life, who doesn't even exist, and bringing her to moments in his life that are really formative, and then ending it with getting like the two of them watching Nora and Henry Allen just like be a couple. And after finding out that Eobard killed Nora and then still going and lying about everything, I would have ditched her in the fucking future too.
Same thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
At that point, you can't even believe that is she actually his daughter? Like, and like,
yeah.
Are you is anything you say true, or are you a machination of this fucking psychopath who has been stalking my entire existence? Because I have no reason to trust anything you say or do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do like how that.
But that would have been smart Barry Allen, and we don't have a smart Barry Allen.
Well, yeah. Who's
but
the
he is
smart
smart
Barry
in that
Allen?
moment. He speaks her, and then I do like what we end up getting interaction wise with Iris and Eobard, and actually even Ralph and Eobard. When Eobard's like, aren't you supposed to be dead?
Yeah. I do because he raised because he sees them all the fucking season finale, and he's like, look at this, it's like old times. Iris, Cisco, Ralph, you're supposed to be dead. You're not supposed to be here.
And then what does he say? I don't remember. He says something back. He's like, "We'll fix that shortly.
Yeah, we'll fix that. It's fine."
Little does he know that Ralph is actually a god.
Well, yeah, you can't. Yeah, Ralph was effectively unkillable. Well, I mean,
they don't even address it in the show, which I'm like,
nope,
nope. Why would they? That's something we don't do. Yeah.
I also like the fact that because Eobard has been, I guess, effectively cut off from the Speed Force. He gets out and he's like, "Look, things are still surprising." Look, Ralph Dibney, you're not supposed to be here. This is great.
I like the idea that they built in for the negative Speed Force. I like all of that stuff. But I guess my biggest issue of this whole season is set some goddamn ground rules for time travel because I don't understand it.
It's a problem.
What happens is when Eobard.
I think that part of this is they just wrote a new rule book and basically asked you to disregard the old one.
Well, I don't understand the scene when Eobard. So the thing disappears and Eobard kills everybody, but then time rewinds and then Flash and Excess save everybody. So
Eobard. Well, this goes back to the Excess episode. She can unwind time.
Is that her power?
That's one of the he even says it. He says, "I see you've now." He says, "I see you've mastered your ability to reverse time."
Oh, I didn't.
I never even realized that. Really, I thought she was just running back in time.
No,
it's really established that well enough in the season. Then,
I kind of like that when Eobard is in prison, and I've mentioned this in the chat before. We haven't talked about the show yet. When Eobard is in prison, he has very pronounced blonde highlights and a little bit like a soul patch thing going on his chin. He's got a little dusting. And then that leads up to the moment before his execution. He escapes. He turns around. He has stark black hair, no facial hair, and eyeliner. I'm like, what happened? Did he go and get a shave and a haircut?
I realized the idea behind that was that he was supposed to be going gray. That's what the whole point of that was. So the Speed Force energized him, and it made him young again. Which, sure, why not? That's fine. Whatever. I guess that makes sense. Explains why he has black hair during Earth X, I think. Yeah. So.
Whatever. It was just funny looking. Also, it's good to see Tom back in full whispery villain voice.
Yeah, that was fun. That was really fun.
I'm sorry to inform, gentlemen, but you're all dead.
What wasn't fun though was the return of Bee Lady.
Wait, she's in the Rogues
best
episode.
Appearance. Yeah, her best appearance is this one. Compared to that Arrow episode where she turns an army of bees into a man so that they can fight Oliver, because why not?
I don't remember her being in that episode at all.
That was like
She's barely in it.
Episode of Arrow.
No. I remember her from Arrow and stuff. I remember her
It's the Rogues episode where it's her, Weather Witch, Ragdoll, and then Nora's gone evil.
Yeah, it's the one where they all turn on Nora at the end, and then I don't remember how it ends. They're the security people they tied up, and they could have helped at any point. Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
And that's where Barry's like, no, we should follow his plan to use the Mara gun to destroy the thing. You should totally trust Thawne.
Right, exactly. That's how it works. That was fine, I guess. I don't know.
I feel like the only other things to talk about is the Joe becoming the whatever, and really Cisco leaving.
Yes,
the thing is they haven't even there's more with Cisco leaving coming from behind the scenes, and the stuff on camera has been he's just dropping hints that he doesn't he kind of maybe sort of doesn't want to do this anymore, but he hasn't really come on screen and said yeah, I'm gonna quit. And I feel like next season's gonna open and he's gonna be like, bye.
Does he not take the cure in this season?
No, he takes the cure at the season finale.
Oh, I don't remember that at all. I'm sorry.
He
Yeah,
takes
he takes the cure, so he's like,
and he walks. His
Oh,
last scene is him walking down the streets.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Saturday Night Fever style.
It's a pretty definitive ending for him. His stuff and Caitlyn's stuff throughout this whole season was kind of weird.
The Caitlyn stuff, I'm not like with her dad being Icicle, and then he gets killed, and her mom gets powers. Is like the hint, and then Cisco leaves her a costume, I guess.
Mm-hmm. It's just,
and I don't
know if it needed to be there. I get it. It's 22 episodes, and you got to do something to fill some of those episodes up. And I guess that like Caitlyn had a complete arc, but I don't know if it was necessary. I did like that she had something to do.
Well, I like
I'm always happy with that because Panabaker, she gets sidelined probably more than anybody.
It's like her role is like she's medic, and then we need another hero. But then there's too many goddamn heroes on the team. And also you have a guy who's a god.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, since I never actually address it, it's never going to be important. But Panabaker's also been the result of like two absolute dud romantic subplots.
Right.
One was
a joke about him this season.
Yeah, one was Hunter's Almond, which works once. But the second one was with Julian, and like he doesn't even stick around for more than
reference him anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they make the joke with Ralph, and they're just like,
oh yeah, because they had to pass each other, don't they?
They're flirty. But Ralph is also flirty with all women.
Yeah, they have more like a brother-sister thing going on, which I enjoyed. Yeah, I do like where we sort of end things off, though, for the most part. Like, I think things are going to be good, definitely, next season.
Yeah. Well, instead of doing the romantic relationship, they do the relationship with her and Killer Frost, because they're separate identities.
Yeah, I like that. I like that stuff a lot, yeah.
Which that costume and the wig work is so much better now. It's insane. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like the way she's kind of figured out how to do performances a lot better, because I feel like the first few times were a bit cringy.
Yeah.
Because it's like, just because a character is ice themed does not mean they have to spout off ice puns every 5 seconds. Yeah. It's like people still haven't learned from Batman and Robin yet. But the Crisis tease, Monitor didn't show up in Flash, did he?
The Crisis tease is the newspaper, and Earbard saying like,
"See you at our next crisis."
Yes, and so the newspaper goes from Flash disappearing in a crisis from 2024 to 2019.
Yeah, which is just a real bold thing to do, but I get it. Yeah,
but like I have like some weird I don't know, like I guess I'm fine with the actor leaving at this show, but like it's such like a weird kind of way they did it. Like
it didn't really feel like with when Martin Stein left during Crescent Earth X, like you're like, wow, that character got a fucking journey. But Cisco has done pretty much fuck all for a couple seasons.
Yeah, and he doesn't have an arc, that character. If you look at him throughout the whole run of the show, like
his peak was getting stabbed in the chest.
Well, his power is teleporting.
Yeah.
And how far does that get you when you have a guy on your team that can run the speed of light?
Well, it's not even that. It's just like what is his thing? Like, how has he changed? And is it that he's a more mature person? Because sure, but like that was never a problem. The fact that he was well, I mean, with some exceptions, but like the fact that he was immature was never like the main thing that got in the way. Maybe that he was a little bit over emotional, or that he couldn't separate his emotions.
The problem was like he was the comedy relief, and then now that Ralph is there, it's like, oh no, that character's way better at that.
Right. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, what was the point of having him? I guess, like, other than like the story point of view, like, what do you need episode to episode? Like, what was his purpose? And
gadget guy,
out of it, he had no purpose. Like, his
purpose is to be cute, which is to create gadgets and throw them through a portal.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about larger narrative
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but like they never had. He had the iris problem, which is he has nothing to do.
Yeah, like Stein's stuff was preparing whoever his double is or was to become more of a man.
The thing is, they've done more with Joe and his wife than with Cecile and Iris in 2 seasons.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh man, Cecile's awesome. I fucking love Cecile.
She's amazing. I love that character.
And this is something that I'm sort of thinking as we visit some of these characters, and this might just be really a Flash problem, is that a lot of these shows do not actually do a good job of season-long narrative change. Like, Ollie is a character who has changed a lot over 7 years, but Barry really hasn't all that much.
Oh my god, Barry is still like for being the Flash for as long as he has as a character. He doesn't really regress. He just kind of like he's in stasis.
Well, it's also his biggest problem in anything he does is he just stands still.
Right, and when the writers want him to change,
Jeez.
suddenly changed. That's the thing. Oh well, we need Barry to be a little bit more of an adult this season because his daughter's going to be in the show, so he has to be more of an adult.
That and like I think that like you introduce a big problem at the end of season 2 when he 5 seconds or like 5 minutes before he runs back in time, like. There's kind of a lot of like on-screen implication and like kind of stuff coming through the screen at you like, okay, so he's going to learn to accept the way things are and, you know, try to move on. And then he just fucking goes and makes Flashpoint.
Yeah.
It's like you're an idiot. You're an idiot who can never be happy.
Yeah, I mean, at least in that season, he does kind of accept the way things are. He accepts he has to go into the Speed Force. But then they don't respect that at all in the next season.
Oh my god, they couldn't keep him in there for one episode.
Yeah.
Well, it's the whole thing is like this season wasn't even his arc; it was Nora's.
That's the thing I will give them credit for. It really was like Nora sort of learning to be.
And let's also go with like the finale. Like you gave that character an arc, and then you fucking murdered her in front of her parents.
Yeah,
like. This is fucking gutsy.
But the thing is, like, I don't mind. Like, the character couldn't stick around. She had to go, and they've already done like 5 different ways to.
Well, I thought they would like displace her. Like, she would go back to the future and somehow, like, you know, through some sort of, you know, tomfoolery, like, cut off her ability to travel back. So is like,
I don't know.
No more of this happens. But like, no, it's Eobard's like, oh, by the way, I season 1 your daughter.
I mean,
he just fucking leaves.
Here's what I will say, though. I mean, now that her timeline is erased, they can take anything that they visited in her timeline and reuse it however the fuck they want. So
I mean, they fucking better.
I think that they very much will. So yeah, like.
Well, the thing is, like, this is again goes to the whole time traveling rules bullshittery of the Flash. It's like, all right, if you erase her now. That means that the moment that Iris and Barry would have had sex to conceive her is now gone.
I don't think that that's what they're saying. I think they're saying that in that moment, they maybe didn't have sex, or the sperm didn't make it there. Barry's
okay. Well, here's the thing: if you go by how Eobard has been able to survive, then it's just that his timeline ends at that point. He doesn't get erased.
He's not erased because he's in the negative Speed Force. He's using it to keep himself from. If he stopped using negative Speed Force, he would just dissipate.
Right. That's. I think that's what we're meant to understand. Is like he basically is the black.
Yeah, but you go back to his return in season 2, and Harrison Wells basically says like he basically lays it out like River Song and the Doctor. Like you're going this way, and he is going this way. His death is here. In the past, so it's already happened for you. For him right now, he has no idea it's going to happen. He has no idea who any of you are. He has no idea who I am. This is where he learns it all. So
it's not the Eobard that we see in this season. The Eobard we see in this season is an Eobard that knows everything is going to happen because it directly references them visiting him as Welzabard in the past as giving him the idea for the cicada dagger stuff.
Right. Because at some point in the future, he gets captured somehow, we assume. It might be during Crisis. He might be in prison after this next Crisis, which would be interesting, I guess.
I don't know. I kind of think
more of a Fisk type villain.
I kind of think Barry breaks his neck.
I mean, that's one
That
way
would
to
be
go.
awesome.
I feel like they need to do that because, especially if you're going to play off the line of like, after all the times you've killed me, I finally get to do it to you.
You know what I want, though? I want Oliver's dad to show up from the other universe and shoot him with a bow and arrow in the head.
And it's just stuck there for a season.
Yeah, he shows up next season and the arrow's still in his head.
But every time they show him, it has to go slightly further.
Oh my god, that's so fucking funny. And then like someone's like, "What's the problem?" But like, there's still very clearly an arrow like sticking out of his forehead, and then he takes off his mask to reveal it anyway. He's like, "You could say I have a headache," and everyone's like, "We know you had an arrow in your head. Like you didn't have to take a cow off."
Okay. I think we're good on Flash for the moment.
Yeah, because we gotta let's get through Arrow real quick, and then I'm going to bed. I don't know, like it's the problem. Like when something we like is just great, and we're like, wow, it's good. Good night.
Yeah.
I'll just
like
say,
that's Arrow this season. Yeah.
I will say I got fooled a few times, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I really liked Emiko. She was a good surrogate for the story that this is based on in the comics, where it was his mother. That was basically her role in the comics. And I thought it was good. I thought everything that they did with the kind of building this is the prison season too, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like I liked his time in prison. It mattered.
I don't have enough good things to say about his time in prison.
Yeah, that stuff was great.
Yeah.
And I love the way that they built on it after the fact. And
because it was like a different fucking show for like 8 episodes.
And they had Talia come back and reference some stuff on her, then obviously references Batman. But the Bronze Tiger shit this season was like out of nowhere and awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, like even after the prison stuff, I think that they managed to make it still feel very different from everything that came before. All that stuff.
Because then, like, they suddenly had this world where it's like Oliver's out and he still has a hood on, but then like there's no mask or anything, and the whole world is like, "Hey, look, holy shit, it's Oliver Queen, aka the Green Arrow."
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Police,
and they had to get used to the idea of like him going out and doing what he does, and people recording him on cell phone.
Yeah, that stuff was really good. Yeah, like all that stuff. And I even the escape from Star City stuff, it sort of like got stale for a little bit.
Future stuff?
Yeah.
The only part
because there's a fucking wall around the city and it's
the only part of that I really, really dug was like one of the last things they did, which is
very end. Very end.
But my favorite thing is the reveal of Diggle's sons.
Mm-hmm.
And that the one that's the good one, that is the same actor that played Connor Hawke when we visited that Future in Legends, is the kid of Bronze Tiger. And that his actual son, John Diggle Jr., is the head of the Deathstroke gang.
Yeah.
I was oh, shit.
That was a cool little detail. That works so well.
Also goes to in the future, we know everybody's ending but one character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ollie, right?
No, that's not who I'm talking about. We see every character and we know Ollie's quote unquote dead. There's one other character we do not see in the future, and no one talks about what happened to them.
I don't remember who it was.
Diggle.
Oh yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, no one references what happened to him. He's not in the future, and no one says that he's dead. And what else did we get this season in the crossover as a tease?
I mean, maybe.
They straight up were like, Superman straight up goes, "Where's your ring?"
I mean, my answer is that. That's my answer. Is that he's in space.
What was Ernie Hudson's name?
His name was he's John Jones Sr.
That's not his last name.
Or not John Jones. John, what's his last name?
Stewart.
Stewart, yeah, John Stewart Sr. Which was such a good reveal because the Superman thing flew over my head for some reason. But the John Stewart thing was so good, and they established it so well, and the fact that they had Ernie Hudson for an entire episode, that was fucking great.
Which he was awesome. I love that his character was there. I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the whole setup of it is just fantastic.
Also, one of my favorite subplots this season that I was kind of like, I had successfully made to forget about it, and then when it came back, I didn't realize how important it was going to be, and that's the fucking serial killer.
Oh, the weird guy,
yeah, who disappears for a quarter of a season, comes back, and is the dude who cuts Dinah's throat.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was really good.
And then stalks Ollie to his house and does that whole paralysis thing.
He's the reason that that the kid is gone.
That's right. That's the reason William gets in away, right? Because he's like, I can't.
He loses his shit. William is like, no, I'm done. I can't do this.
Yeah.
And that's also a tease. Like, he makes the chili, which is like a goof in the comics. That's Green Arrow's like thing that he does. That he has in DC Comics the world's best chili.
Oh.
And they actually put out the recipe at one point in like the 80s.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of things that I didn't really like.
Curtis leaving, I thought was very anticlimactic.
Oh yeah, Curtis leaving was kind of like, okay, I don't know what the point of that was. Like, why have him in this season? Really, that wasn't.
I feel like Curtis did fuck all this season.
Well, he didn't do really much in any of the seasons. I don't understand why he needed to be Mr. Terrific.
They wanted a black gay character, that's why. And I don't know if that really worked out for them well. But
they just like a lot of weirdness that like they changed his name and like they just did goofy stuff with him.
Well, I think part of the problem with that is that they got that big hard on for splitting up Team Arrow and like making them explode, which like
Civil War.
Well, even before that though, like Curtis never really made sense.
It was like Felicity too.
Right. Like it never makes sense to have multiple characters who serve the exact same purpose.
He has the same problem as Cisco. Like he had no purpose.
Well, there was something cool to him and Felicity going to business together, but then the whole fucking Civil War thing happened, and then they just stopped it.
Yeah,
well, no, they were still in business together, which made it even weirder.
Yeah,
like it was just so strange. But yeah, so that stuff didn't really work out well. Laurel having to go on the run.
I liked her entire arc this season a lot.
Yeah,
I like the fact that she is now like she's done a redemption arc, but every now and then she's like, "I will grind you into dust."
I didn't like the on the run thing, and I really didn't care all that much for the all women episode. I thought it was well directed.
Oh, the canary.
Yeah, and I thought bringing back fucking Sarah was cool, but I don't know, that episode was kind of.
I think the problem with that episode is the other bad girl woman. Like, who is that? Why is she in a cat suit? And what the shit?
Like, I don't think she's an established character, or not one that people care about, at least.
The only thing I really dug in that episode was that they brought back the thing from season 1 of Arrow with like the screaming ball.
Yeah.
That Sarah had.
That was fun. Yeah. Let me think. What's the other thing? But here's the thing, though. That episode, it's directed by a woman, and it was written by a woman, both of which had never worked on Arrow before. So when I learned that, I was like, okay, well, fine. Like, you give it a little bit extra, like
any excuse to put Sarah Lance back on Arrow is passable.
Yeah, that's fair. That's completely fair to me. And also, again,
in fact, one of my favorite moments from this entire pocket of shows is, I think, at the end of Invasion, or is it Touchdown X, where Sarah and Oliver sit together and they're like, "Can you imagine that this just started with like us?"
Yeah, that's
this season.
That's Invasion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sitting in the fake Justice League hall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the hangar.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, that was also and that was what I was going to bring up before about Cisco. Is that like, what has Cisco done? Like Cisco got petty for a season and then was not petty.
Right.
And then he got like
He's
emo.
so inconsistent from season to season, and again,
Yeah.
like, no overriding purpose.
And then you see him in the possible future, and he's sad Cisco with no hands.
Right. It's just
Well, the thing is, like, he's a character that is like an F-less character that has like very little.
Wait, hold on. Let's think about, not to derail back to Flash, but like, let's think about that little moment for a second, where he's sad because he lost he's sad because his friend's gone, but also like he's like, yeah, I don't have hands anymore. I have robot Terminator hands. And then his exit from the show is like, I don't want these powers anymore. What the fuck?
yeah. That's
It's
yeah.
completely competing tones. Like, this is the same character.
I'd rather if they had just said that he went to another universe at the
Well,
end.
the thing is, like, I don't get why like he can't just like leave. Like, why does he need to be
Because
dependent?
he wants a definitive ending from everything that I've heard, which is fine, I guess.
Well, now there's like
Also,
almost
they said he's done as a series regular, so he's not going away forever. Like, he's going to show up again.
Yeah, but taking the powers away—that's the kind of thing that you do when you're like, "Yeah, I don't want to be on episode." Like that's the only reason.
Yeah, I do. Like, the thing is, they said like, "Oh, Jefferson's done being a series regular," and then he showed up once again in Legends, and he was a fat dad. So,
yeah,
which is kind of great, but still not the way I wanted to see him again.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings on Jefferson.
I liked him after a while.
Yeah.
But
I think
I'm sorry, Arrow.
I think there's 2 episodes that we really need to talk about, which is the what do you call it, the Arsenal episode with all that shit that goes on when they're having to to get interviewed by what's her name? They got her throat cut.
yeah.
Oh, Dinah,
when she's interviewing them because they're like, what the hell is going on? Like, and then because they basically reveal that Roy died. He straight up got killed when him and Thea have been running around, and he got put into a Lazarus pit.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
Yeah, and he beat a cop to death.
Whoa, I forgot about that too.
Yeah, like that's that whole episode is that they are covering for him, and then the videotape gets released by Emiko, and basically everyone's like, "Oh, you lied for your buddy," and the only reason anything kind of changes is because Emiko invades the police department dressed as the Green Arrow.
And that's why Roy has been on Lian Yu, hasn't it?
Yes.
Okay. It's weird.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I can't go anywhere else in the world, so I'll go to this island.
Well, he doesn't have a Constantine to like put his soul back in him or something.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
well, okay. Here's the thing, though. Like, this is the problem with future timelines in this pocket of shows is like, so there's another prominent Arrow character who got put into a Lazarus pit. Well, Constantine. Oh, that's right. Constantine helped her, didn't he?
Yeah, he helped. Well, Thea didn't die. Thea was like jacked up.
Oh, I mean, Sarah.
Sarah died, yeah, and Constantine put her soul back in her body.
Okay. Well, I thought you got Lazarus pitted it.
Yes, after she was dead. Because remember when she was all feral and chained up in the body?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she brings it up every now and then about being... She brought it up in the Canary episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, then they reveal, that like... And then he sticks around, and then the next episode is the building gets dropped on everybody, and the whole Team Arrow is like trying to escape, and then we have the Oliver Tommy thing, which was the best episode of the season, maybe? Like him having the discussion with Tommy.
Yeah. Whenever they bring back Tommy, it's always exactly right. Like they've never brought him back and not done a good job with it.
Oh man, the fucking the Earth X Prometheus reveal was like it was like 90 seconds, and it was 90 seconds of solid fucking gold.
Yeah, but like in all the other ones, he's only there for 90 seconds. Even the courtroom scene that they did 1 year, it's like, but this was like he was there, like he filmed.
He was there. He was like a side character, and it was really strong. I really enjoyed that. You bringing it up, it brings it all back. But yeah, like they did a lot of interesting stuff with Oliver and his sister, and it's like classic Shakespearean stuff.
Well, me and Lou were saying when we had to a little break real quick. This really felt like a soft series finale or final season.
Yeah. Especially the way it closes out.
Yeah.
And
then next season is very much going to be a celebration / victory lap. I am really strongly thinking that next season is going to be 8 episodes of Ollie being just pulled by the ear by the monitor, and either recruiting or suppressing certain individuals.
I think it is I think it's at least 3 to 5 episodes of him recruiting characters to help him. The
reveal of the episode at the end is all right, so the monitor comes and takes Ollie away, and then
this is fucking tragic.
Yes, but after he just has the kid, and then the ending of the future is Felicity's all right, you guys are good, you have each other, you're the next generation of heroes, and she walks down the road and the monitor takes her. So he's not necessarily dead. He's just
I think Oliver is dead, but his soul is somewhere. They're kind of confirming that there is. I mean, Legends kind of confirms this, but they're sort of making it clear that there is a heaven or an afterlife.
Well, now here's the thing. I think this was a very direct Injustice poll. So in the Injustice comic universe, Green Arrow is killed by Superman. He dies. He dies first. So Dinah's left without him. Dinah's left without him, and she's inconsolable. But then she died. Yeah, and pregnant, and she seemingly dies fighting Superman. Dr. Fate defies the gods of fate, grabs Dinah from near death, and brings her to a pocket universe where he grabbed an Oliver from a different Earth, whose Dinah also died, and basically gives them their own plane of existence to live in together, and form their own life there.
Yeah,
I think what the monitor did here was he did more or less the same thing, and he brought Felicity from our Earth to go live with an Oliver in a different Earth, and the Felicity from I think he basically did the same thing. He did a switcheroo.
I don't think they're going to do that Oliver from a different Earth, but I think it's going to maybe be something a last second kind of pull of him.
Yeah,
but it depends on what they do with Crisis, which we want to talk about all the
pieces. I think we need to wait till all that stuff actually happens. Yeah. But we'll see how it works. What was the other thing I was gonna?
Well, the Super Bowl one we haven't discussed is that he shows up, he brings Lex back from the dead.
Yes.
And the second big thing he does is that he brings Martian Manhunter's brother into onto her Earth.
And the Martian Manhunter thing sort of goes with his whole point, which is to make people in these universes stronger, to prepare them for what's coming. The Lex thing feels like him recruiting, actually. He's probably going to be working for the monitor.
But he dropped off Martian Manhunter. It seems like he takes Lex with him.
Yeah, which is an interesting thing.
The Lex thing feels more like a Dr. Manhattan thing, where it's that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Oliver and Monitor going around different worlds, recruiting characters to be part of a team led by Oliver. That sounds familiar to me, like something I might have pitched long ago.
Here's the thing. This will all be worth it if he gets his team. You know exactly where I'm going with this. He gets his team and he's like, all right, guys. And someone's like, got it. We're the outside. And before he finishes, Oliver announces a new team name. And whoever said it, sits down quietly.
There's only a handful of characters that would work perfectly for, but they could do it. Which I feel to me, the only characters I really want to see on his team is the one you already said, which is his father as the Green Arrow from Earth 2.
I can't. I need it. I need it so much.
And the other one is the one.
Wait a minute. Didn't they establish that?
They established it in the episode.
Yeah, he's Green Arrow in that verse. In that universe, Oliver died, but he survived, and he's the Green Arrow. Robert Queen is the Green Arrow.
That's Earth 2, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yes.
Yeah. It was a joke earlier, but that's something they could actually do. Oh my god. They could actually have Robert Queen show up and kill some giant character, have the guy who played Randall Flagg in the Stand years back.
I need it so much. It's not even funny. I need that. You know what? Fuck it. Have him shoot Eobard with a gun.
I mean, sure, why not? I mean, yeah.
The only one
why not?
is like
Barry's gonna go break his neck, but then like someone's like his fucking Ollie's dad is like, no, like I'm saving you from your own dark side. Blam.
Yes.
It's reverse flash in the face.
Oh god, that would be so.
He's like, "What'd you do?" He's like, what I wouldn't let you do it, but I'm allowed to do this. I'm Batman. I mean, Green Arrow.
Shh, I'm also Batman.
I'm also Batman. My son is also Batman, but don't tell him that.
Yeah.
But I'm ready to go to bed.
Yeah. Okay.
We've done this surprisingly energetic and thoughtful episode of CW Talk after we bemoaned it in the first 30 seconds. So yeah, quick plugs. Movie Dumpster. Hey, Mario Brothers is finally out after I goofed the release date for it, because when we recorded it, I thought it was coming out like 2 weeks sooner. Yeah, it's out now. I know that my job as a member of the podcast is to tell you that it's good and you should listen to it. But I listened to it over the course of 2 days, and it's got some of the best audio editing and musical bits we've ever done. And when I say we, I mean Joe, because usually it's like a one and done thing. This was a multitude of different musical and sound effects. One in particular pops up like 3 to 5 times, and it's funny every single fucking time. And I'm not gonna tell you what it is until you hear it. But I was ready for it the first time. I was not ready for it for the next 4. And it's fantastic every time. Like this episode had a lot of good editing in it, and we were really on top of our game. I think at some point I was joking about Luigi Mario eating what he thought was magical mushrooms, and then having the cops call Mario and tell him that he's assaulting the local aquarium. Just jumping on regular sized turtles. It's really good. Child's Play 3 is out. We just recorded Ghost Shark, and here it is, everybody. Next week, we're talking about Clash of the Titans 2009. I can't fucking wait. Because, spoilers, everybody, I love that movie. So, yeah. I think Arlen actually mentioned on the show that he kind of also likes that movie. So, because it's got the Incredible Hulk with tentacles.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It does have those things.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a all right movie.
It is a perfectly fine CGI slop fest.
Right. It's a perfectly fine. It's TNT and it's 1 o'clock at night and I have nothing else to do. Film.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what it's for.
Mm-hmm.
Now I guess it's time for my plugs. Prepare for in 2 weeks to hear me react to that Movie Dumpster episode, because that's how I listen to podcasts. So yeah, have that be a thing. I'll start a podcast every single week. Well, we're actually going to be switching to bi-weekly here real soon, just because me and Erik are busy and we have lives and other things that we're doing. So look forward to that. New episodes coming soon. Sort of, I think we're doing some more, our thoughts on what's going on in the world type thing. And I think we're doing a Tarantino episode pretty soon. A couple other things that are sort of going to be timely. So look forward to that. Yeah, that's it.
All right. So if you're listening to this, check out the And Now Comics comic book show. It's just about every Thursday. And then Smallville Chronicles is every Tuesday. Our next coming episode, the guest star of the week, was a big bad in Arrow for a minute when he was a little kid. And that's the guy that played Brother Eye.
Wait.
Yes. Felicity's collegehood sweetheart.
Oh, you said Brother Eye.
Yes, he's the guy that created Brother Eye.
Okay, I went to Injustice 2 real quick. No, Injustice. Brother Eye was in Injustice 2. He's a Bruce Wayne invention.
Yes, in that. Yes, that's the more comic book accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the Crypto episode.
Okay.
And then, go to closehorror.wordpress.com. Find the other podcasts. I'm on Legion of Tunes, which comes out times, and yeah,
it comes out.
Comes out when it comes out.
In a month.
Yeah. So don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe, and tell some friends about the show.
Yeah. Listen to the whole Lost Horror Podcast Network featuring 60% of the people on this show right now. So, yeah. Math.
All right, well.
Okay. I think we're all sufficiently done with this. So.
Oh, yeah. I'm barely alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Adios. Tom Welling is going to be Bruce Wayne.
See you at our next crisis.